Right now, Linda Feinberg is the author of Teasing, Innocent Fun or Sadistic Malice. And Linda, at first I wasn't sure what the book was going to be about, and as I got into it, it was just fascinating. Linda,
Thank you.
She's a psychotherapist, and she has really done extensive work in this whole thing of teasing. And of course, we all think back to our childhoods when we were teased by maybe the bully or maybe a relative that teased us, maybe siblings or other kids. And that can really affect a person as they grow up, can't it?
Oh, it certainly can. It can be a strengthening factor, but generally it's very hard on the self-esteem.
Now, define teasing. You have a very interesting definition of it.
Well, it was very hard to define it because we use so many different types of behavior that we call teasing. What I came up with is that teasing is any remark or activity or behavior, or even just the presence of a person, place, or thing, which promises someone a shortcut to intimacy, but contains a secret message.
Promises a shortcut to intimacy, but contains a secret message.
It's like a quick way to connect with somebody, but there's a twist on it. You know, like the little boy teases the pretty new girl in school who wears glasses by calling her Four Eyes. She will instantly respond to him with this, probably in a negative way, but this still makes the boy feel connected to her for this brief time. Her anger will cause a temporary intimacy, a connection between them as he has succeeded in getting under her skin. The little girl may think the boy is being deliberately mean. She may not understand his particular secret message, which is, I love you, pay attention to me.
Right, he wants attention. He wants her to pay attention, but he does it in a negative way.
It's the only way he probably knows how.
And in the book, I remember you say that even if she responds with hate, at least she's paying attention.
Yes, and she's responding in such a strong emotional way, and this is what he's looking for.
So is teasing always negative, or is there positive teasing?
Well, as far as the positive teasing goes, we all love certain types of teasing. You know, suspenseful movies and books tease us. Roller coasters are a great tease. Flirting is a form of teasing behavior. Even addicted golfers say the game of golf is the biggest tease in the world because even bad golfers will swing like Jack Nicklaus once in a while, and so they feel they should be able to do it all the time. When it's a bad thing is when it negatively affects a person's relationships or contributes to self-destructing behavior, such as you put in your advertisement, compulsive gambling.
Yeah.
Compulsive gambling will tease people into gambling. You know, the people that are against gambling will complain that the easy access we now have to state-run lotteries and this sort of thing is contributing to the problem.
So teasing isn't just necessarily a person doing something to you. It could be a thing.
Oh, it can be an ice cream carton, a cigarette, a golf ball, a video game. Just knowing it's there in front of you is a tease.
So advertising can be teasing.
Advertising is one of the biggest teases of our culture. You know, it says, buy our cosmetics, apply us to your intimate places, and we promise you'll be more sexually desirable. You know, they don't say that, we promise you'll be more desirable, but they have a picture of a very sexy man and woman in the magazine.
Since it's a shortcut to intimacy, does that mean that I assume all of us have these intimacy needs that are being fulfilled by these things that are teasing us? You see what I'm saying?
It's more about the person who's doing the teasing. What kind of needs do they have?
Oh, it's the teaser who's got...
Yeah, I think the teaser is really, one of the big issues there. You know, what kind of needs does the teaser have? Well,
like a bully. A bully has intimacy needs and expresses it by trying to pound you, I suppose.
A bully, generally, it's a control issue. You know, they want to get attention. They want to distance themselves from somebody or something they think is bad or stupid. They want to overcome feelings of jealousy, and some kids are just down and out sadistic, you know. But it's a way to test different aspects of their personalities as well. And some kids, you know, tease for revenge. So there's a lot of different motivations for why kids would bully.
Is it okay for parents to tease their kids? They don't want to be teased.
On verbal teasing, what we say is that it's the victim of the tease that decides if teasing is good or bad. Good intentions mean absolutely nothing in the world of teasing. If your little girl likes being teased, it's okay. If she doesn't like it, you really ought to cut it out.
Okay, that's a good point. Or that's true of spouses or siblings.
You see, the problem is that teasing is a form of risk-taking behavior because when you tease somebody, you really don't know how they're going to take it. For instance, right now, if I teased you, I'd be taking an enormous risk because I don't know you. You might get offended.
Yeah.
I did a radio show with some other guy who says to me, well, I warned the other somebody asked about the rules of teasing. So I said, well, you really shouldn't tease kids of foreign cultures because they may not understand your teasing culture. And the guy says to me, the announcer says to me back, well, any kid that doesn't understand the American teasing culture shouldn't live in this country. So I said, yeah, you and Howard Stern. Well, he got really mad at me. Really, really mad. And that changed the whole focus of the program. Now, in saying you and Howard Stern, I took a great big risk, but he really made me mad.
Yeah. And because we've got a guy here on our station that all he does is tease people all the time. And I see what you're saying. It's his way of starting intimacy.
Well, it's his way of communicating,
right,
making a connection, wanting to get going.
But it's all in how the person takes it.
It is, and sometimes people like to listen on the air to announcers who tease because they can't believe the guy gets away with it.
Yeah, that's for sure.
It's like that show on television, Married with Children.
Yeah.
The couple that teases each other in such outrageous fashion.
That's right.
And the audience keeps coming back for more. They know in their house they just get divorced if they try to tease their spouse like that.
And you mentioned in your book, too, some of the other media shows, and you're right, Regis and Kathy Lee, that's just a show filled with teasing.
Yeah,
the two of them tease each
if a person can become an expert at teasing, the world is open to them.
Yeah, Mad About You, Friends, Seinfeld.
It's just a teasing mentality. And one of the reasons that the teasing is so big in the media is it used to be that we could go on television and make fun of different groups of people, like alcoholics or drug addicts. But it's against the rules now in the media to make fun of different groups because then the station gets attacked by Alcoholics Anonymous or whichever group has an organization to defend them. So now the only safe thing to make fun of is behavior, and that's a teasing in a teasing fashion.
Yeah. Teasing, is it innocent fun or sadistic malice? That's the name of the book by Linda Feinberg. What about the workplace? Is it appropriate to tease in the workplace?
Well, once again, that's a risk-taking proposition. One of the reasons it's such a big risk is if the person you're teasing doesn't like it, you're stuck with that person all the time after that. So you've got to be got special care. People will often tease at the workplace to lighten their load. Medical professionals and law enforcement people are notorious teasers. People also tease at work to help relieve monotony. It's said that the more monotonous the job, the more likely that horseplay is going to take place. What you have to be careful about is not to tease someone about their actual professional credibility, because this could really have a damaging effect on a person's reputation at work. You can kid a person about their hobbies or their interests, but stay away from teasing them about their actual work competence.
Well, it's hard because some people's sense of humor is teasing. That's just the sense of humor they have, and in order to lighten up the workplace and make it an enjoyable place to work, they think that teasing is a good method of lightening things up.
Well, in most of the time it probably is. But if you sense that the other employee that you're teasing doesn't like it, you really ought to lighten up.
Is sexual harassment a form of teasing?
Sexual harassment, I included it in my book because people are still saying, in defense of their own harassment, that they were just teasing.
Right.
But sexual harassment is not teasing. Sexual harassment is to teasing what rape is to sex. Rape really doesn't have anything to do with sex. It's just a means the rapist uses like a weapon to gain power and to control and to use violence over another person. And in the same way, sexual harassment operates. It has nothing to do with teasing.
But it gets back to what you said before about it's in the eye of the person who's being teased.
Well, yes, because sexual harassment is unwelcome sexual conduct or behavior. So if the person you're making sexual comments to appreciates those sexual comments, you're home free. But if the person doesn't appreciate them and lets you know that, and you continue, then that's sexual harassment. So once again, it's in the view of the victim.
Do men tease differently than women do?
Men tend to be much more playful in their teasing, and they're notorious for using teasing to send ambiguous or mixed messages to gain power and to control other people. Men will, you're laughing. Okay,
well, it's a sense of control. I'm a teaser, and I just remember early in my marriage when I started teasing my wife about something and she threw a fit. She does not like me to tease her. And, of course, as you say, it's a form of control. I go, yeah, maybe that's true.
You are a radio man. You are used to using speech for your job.
Yeah.
You're the one that asks me the questions. You're the one that dismisses an unlikely caller. You're used to having speech as a way of controlling people. It would be perfectly natural that you would end up wanting to control people through teasing, but not necessarily in a terribly malicious way. You don't seem like a sadistic type of person to me.
Thank you. I hope my wife
Well,
would say that.
I've done
too.
enough radio shows by now. I can tell who's the sadist and who's not within the first 10 minutes. We had some guy introduce me and said, "Hi, this is Linda. She's going to talk about teasing." He didn't give my last name. He didn't give the name of my book.
Oh.
That guy was a little bit sadistic there.
Yeah.
But men will call out to each other, "Hey, pizza face," because, males in our society
Yeah.
are uncomfortable expressing affection for each other.
Yeah.
To some men, teasing is synonymous with masculinity. I told my accountant my new book was on teasing, and he says to me, "That's very interesting, Linda. I don't think you can be a man without the ability to tease." Now, this thought would never even occur to a woman. Now, it might be that there's something inborn that's part of men seducing women. I don't know. That's just part of this whole teasing ability.
But women do tease, and in your 27 personalities that you have in the book, just the first one, you bring up the Bridges of Madison County example.
Yeah.
And, of course, that was shot just 20, 30 miles away from here in Des Moines. And you mentioned how Meryl Streep teases Clint Eastwood in the movie, and that's called the strategist form of teasing. Explain that.
Well, in the Bridges of Madison County movie, for those of you that forgot, Clint and Meryl start out as just being friends. And Clint decides that he wants to change the status of their relationship, and he picks some wildflowers for her, which is a very loving, flattering, romantic gesture. She takes the flowers, appears to be flattered, and then quickly lies and tells him the wildflowers are poisonous when they're not. This really upsets him. And then she laughs and is embarrassed and denies knowing why she said the flowers were poisonous. I think what she did was to double jump Clint to get back in control and regain the advantage, because she was feeling so vulnerable to her feelings.
It was a form of her keeping control.
Right, definitely.
And what are let me ask you about a couple of the other teasing personalities. Let's see. What about the person who uses sarcasm? Because sarcasm is a form of teasing.
Well, it definitely is. These are people who have a behavior type that we call passive-aggressive, which is they're being very aggressive in a passive way. The person who's made famous for sarcasm is Roseanne.
Yeah.
Of the TV show Roseanne. I mean, she's just amazing. And I've had psychologists whom I've interviewed for this book confess to me that their favorite type of teasing that they like to do is sarcasm, which kind of surprised me. Because that's more of a hurtful. People that are not good at express their feelings directly are very good at sarcasm.
And maybe that's why I personally can't stand watching Roseanne, because that type of teasing I don't care for. But other people who watch her really enjoy it, because maybe that's their thing, right?
Well, I would guess then anybody who doesn't like Roseanne, it's because they are very good with their feelings. And they don't have a need to be sarcastic. They can tell people what's the matter.
I think you've got me pegged.
Yeah, so I think you're a little more psychologically oriented than a lot of other people. Way down deep, you're probably a sensitive guy, and you can't stand this insensitivity between people. You don't think it's funny.
I don't think it's funny at all. Especially,
I don't think it's funny when people slip on banana peels. I can never find slapstick funny.
That's more like the practical joke type, because you have another one that's a practical joker in here, where you've got somebody who likes to tease by playing practical jokes.
Yeah, make a little play. Like we had some guy that said that when his parents went on vacation, he trashed their condo and tried to make them think they'd been robbed. He thought that was a riot. They wanted to kill him.
Oh, my gosh. Well, this is a fascinating subject, and it's great that you put a book together like this, because it's a subject I would never have thought of putting together in book form.
Well, it kind of exploded. My husband was a terrible tease, and continues to be somewhat of a tease. We call him a recovering tease now.
Yeah.
Just like a recovering alcoholic,
Teasers Anonymous, is that what
there's a chapter in this book called Recovering Tease. We talk about forming Teasers Anonymous. Yeah. No joke.
Well, it's great. Thank you so much for being with us. It's
You're
a
very
great
welcome.
book.
Thanks for the chance.